It's 8. Yes, yeah, I haven't put us on. It's 8:17. It's the 21st of May. And welcome to today's guest. It's Mladen. Now people can see you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Hi.
So I've got a bit of a process. So the reason why I do that is as a podcast version. So it kind of then lets people know when it was recorded.
So it makes sense. Oh man, I hate that about blog posts. When you have a blog post that doesn't have a date on it. Have you seen that?
No. I mean, how does that happen?
Some websites just don't date their blog posts. I hate that. It's not technical blog posts, but technical people realize the importance of dates.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. You can't see this properly, but I'll do that for you. That's synchronizing sound and vision.
Hollywood, finally.
Yeah. And there we go. Now you can't see that properly, but everyone on the stream.
Okay.
There we go. And so there's your version. Well, which is over there.
Well done.
Can't see that. There we go.
I love the colors.
Well, I did get a magnet font of this, and you could do it yourself, but these are actually real magnets, so I thought it was much nicer to do.
Yeah.
It's.
Did you buy them or did you 3D printed them?
We bought them years and years ago, because our girls, just for putting stuff on the fridge.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I actually got those. I don't know if you've seen them, but like poetry.
Oh yes, yeah.
It has like words, and then you have like bad poetry and depressed poetry and kinky poetry and stuff like that. And you have all kinds of words and food poetry and stuff like that. And then you can mix them all up on your fridge, and then you can write really nice songs. So,
welcome to Geeks on Screen with Coffee. What are you drinking? Are you drinking coffee tonight, or?
Nope. Kilkenny.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually don't drink coffee at all.
Oh, okay. You a tea drinker or a?
No, I just don't like the taste of coffee. I do drink tea, of course, but so coffee, red wine, all of the things that have those kind of earthly tannin stuff, I don't like.
Okay.
Just doesn't sit well.
So, do you want to just introduce yourself? Just tell people where you're from. You obviously know a previous guest, actually a couple, because Annette as well. Do you want to?
Well, from what I've seen, the people you had on this show, I pretty much know them all.
Okay, all right. Because they're all MVPs, yes. Well, most of them are.
No, not that, but you know people from conferences and stuff, right? So.
Oh yeah, but not everybody that I have spoken to I actually know. So I've spoken to Benny, but I didn't know Benny before.
The Jager, no. Oh yeah, I know him. He was in Slovenia. I actually gave him a ride to the airport.
Yes.
You've never been to Slovenia, right?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't done the.
You should submit to our SQL Saturday.
I should do. There would be reasons. There's unbroadcastable reasons why I might not be able to.
Here's what you do. It's in December. It's the second weekend of December every year. What you do is you take your kids, you put them somewhere in so they can stay with somebody, and you take your wife and bring her to Slovenia.
I don't think she wouldn't want to go without the kids. But if it's cold, if there's snow and in Slovenia, then they'd love that.
Sure you can bring your kids, but
But for about 10 minutes, they go out, play in the snow, and then they go, oh, it's a bit cold, and then want to go inside again.
Yeah.
So
I am from Slovenia. That's a small country south of Austria. I'm an MVP for data platform. I've been doing SQL and .NET for 20 years now. as we talked before, right? 10 years ago, it's not the 90s anymore.
No.
Although the last few years I've been working with Swift. So the apples for Apple, the Swift programming language. I've been working with that.
Oh, okay.
It's an interesting branch out from the normal SQL and .NET stuff. It's interesting to see what, like programming design patterns they do, and the Xcode SQL code editor is like, and to see the other side of the fence.
The other is
so the grass is not greener.
Well, all right. Each programming language is going to have its own interesting nuances, and there are certain things that are easier to do in F# than C#. But so is Swift more like C, or is it?
It's very C#-y. So when it comes to syntax, it's a lot similar to C# or Java. When it comes to semantics and everything else, it's more like C. It has these different things like that we are not familiar with in .NET. Like you have like optional types, and you have types that cannot be null. Then you have types that if you want them to be null, you have to unwrap them, right? Stuff like that. It's an interesting switch of the mindset, and it's actually nice to learn something new that's completely outside of the Microsoft's domain.
So how long have you been doing that then?
Swift for about 4 years now.
4 years. Is that purely for work on a Mac, or is that to work on iPad type applications?
No, it's iPad, iPhone.
Okay, right.
I've been developing an app for work. I've been working on an app for work.
Okay, so rather, I did some stuff for an app a long time ago, but that was when app frameworks were like all the rage, where you didn't really write stuff, you wrote it in a framework, and then you could then publish it to Apple or Android. Like
Xamarin or Cordova or something.
Yeah. Actually, I think we used Cordova, and I think I looked at Xamarin being on the market because before Microsoft bought them.
I've taken a look at Xamarin, but it was still in its early stages. And the problem with those frameworks at that time was, sure, they worked until they didn't. And then you got an error, and then you Googled that error, and you got nothing back. So it just at the time, it wasn't worth it.
So how do you find the community then? The kind of developer community around the kind of the Mac stuff? Is it as good as the .NET and the SQL community?
I have no idea, because I haven't really joined any forums or anything like that. Basically, you Google stuff to Stack Overflow. You read blogs. Okay. There are a lot of blogs about it, and there are people similar as in the SQL and .NET community that do heavy technical blogs and everything, and that helps a lot. But in the end, if you have the basic concepts down, like how to do basic design of an application, how to put stuff together, not to do spaghetti code. From the beginning, in the end, everything ends up as spaghetti code. Then you don't have a problem. Then you just have a syntactic problem where you have to learn the syntax and a few nuances, and that's it.
Yeah, it's you spend more time figuring out how the editor works and trying to get it to compile and then push down onto a device. Yep. I think that was the trickiest thing when I played with it. That was where we had all the struggle. But once you get
it's those. Yeah, it's like what's the phrase for it? Like beginners something. Not beginner's luck, but when you start with something and it's hard and it's like birthing pains or something like that.
Yeah. There's always There's always I know what you mean.
Exactly,
there's always
right? Exactly.
Getting started is always really hard, and once you're over that first hump, and then it's fine. Yeah. But so I knew you from, well, I'm going to say I knew of you from 15, maybe 14 years ago, because you wrote the SSMS Tools Pack. Did I get that right? Okay.
Yep, you did. Yeah.
I mean, I haven't downloaded it or used it because I haven't touched proper SQL in many years. So,
Why not?
because I do, I do Synapse or SQL Data Warehouse.
Oh, right. You went to the mothership. I completely
Yeah.
forgot about that. Yeah.
So,
Cool.
and yes, do you know what I have considered? So the reason why, we'll go back in time. So the reason why I found out about you is because people like Annette Allen and Jonathan Allen, the Allens, told me about you and your great software, and kind of I saw what you did, and I did something very similar myself, a Management Studio plugin, and just because I had time and I was trying to learn something interesting. I didn't do anywhere near the functionality you did. I mean, I'd look at yours and go, my God, this man spends hours and hours of his time, his life on this. This must be his full-time job.
No,
that's what I thought about.
It's a completely free time. I do it completely in my free time. It's interesting though. I've tried to calculate the hours that I worked on it, and I've calculated that it took me in these last 15 years, it took me about 2 to 3 years of actual work. So after hour work, right?
Yeah.
So, now you can do the calculation yourself. But interestingly though, the whole thing started as a challenge because I was at the time, so in 2002 or 2003, I was very active in the forums, the SQLteam.com forums. I don't know if you know about them, but those were very popular back then. Them and SQL Server Central. Yeah. And there was a guy from Sweden who I talked to, and he said, you know what I would love to have? And I'm like, what? I would love to have CRUD, stored procedure generation functionality in SSMS. And I'm like, okay, interesting. What's the problem? And he goes, well, there's nothing like that in there. So can't you extend it? Because you could extend Visual Studio at that time, right? But nobody knew anything about doing extensions for SSMS. And I said, okay, just give me a weekend and I'll see what I can do. And I remember that because I've started working at like 8 o'clock in the evening on Friday. I didn't sleep the whole night because it pulled me so hard inside the whole thing into reverse engineering everything, because I love reverse engineering stuff. It pulled me so hard that I went to bed like on the Saturday evening, not before. And then on Monday I had like a working prototype, and then I just expanded on that through the years.
So how did you reverse engineer it?
Basically, I reflected the hell out of the code.
All right.
What I did first is, so you know how Visual Studio, when it has to load the add-ins at that time in 2005, it scanned certain folders to check or registry entries to check where to look for the DLLs of the add-ins. So I used Process Explorer and Process Monitor from sysinternals to check where those folders are, and then just played with it to see what happened. I compared that to Visual Studio stuff, and it was pretty much the same.
So I did something similar I was working at a company in the UK, and the SQL code was awful, all over the place. Trying to understand it was a nightmare because people would just write spaghetti code, just blah 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 blah, blah all over the place, and it was just like, well, can't we format that? And I went, yeah. So I wrote just a Windows form to format it, and I'm not clever, but what I did read was a blog by, I think it's Gert Drapers.
Yeah.
And he showed that in Visual Studio there were some DLLs that did SQL code formatting and some other SQL jobs that weren't being exposed in Management Studio. Yeah. And I think
I did not know that.
In the very first, and they're still in there, in the very first versions of not Data Studio, it was SSDT that The very first, they were dropped in. So I picked them up, and I just went, well, all you do is you pass in the SQL, it tokenizes it, and it then formats it, removes all the comments. So it wasn't perfect. So I just did that, and I then formatted the code, and then went, all right, well, I could write a management studio add-in similar to yours, because that must be possible. God, that was that. I wasted days of my life on that, and I remember.
Felt good though, right?
No, because I failed. I tried it once, and I spent hours on it. Days worth of time. 16, 18 hours, 20 hours, I can't remember. And then 2-3 weeks later, I then tried again and made it work. But
in 2 hours.
I can't remember. I don't know. Maybe it was 2. Maybe it was another 20 hours. But I got it to work because it was so finicky and kind of so nasty. And I only ever added a few bits of functionality in. It was mostly just for formatting code. And then there was someone like you had all this functionality in there for looking at kind of the versions of SQL that ran and all these other stuff. There was something else you did that I really liked. Oh, I can't remember what it was. There was some really cool function. It's like, my God, this is in here. And it's free.
It's probably still in there though.
Oh yeah.
I haven't taken anything out. So.
And then as time went on, things broke when they released 2008. You had to rewrite the add-in, and then R2.
Every major version.
12. And then what made me give up was when I saw Redgate do that. So I created a source control version actually of it. I created a Management Studio source control. Well, it wasn't really. Well, it was version control. But so what it did, it just it created a trigger. You right click on the database, it created a database trigger, and then whenever you then change any of the schema, it logged all that. So you could right click on a table, it logged it into a table in your database. Then whenever you right clicked on any table, it could give you the version history of it,
which helps a lot to be able to see that. Oh yeah.
And so I could see when other developers were breaking stored procedures and stuff, I could go back and look at different versions, all within a database. And then this company out of Cambridge, Redgate, did this proper source control integration, which was great. And I thought that was really groovy. But they also then changed the icons in Management Studio. And when I saw them do that, then I thought, right, no, this is too much.
I saw them do that as well, and I thought about, should I even try to do that, because I generally know how it's done, but it's just a bit of work, and I said, nah, not worth it. And
do you know how
I don't have any original icons of my own.
Do you know how they did it? They did, and so I was asking the guys at SQL Bits. I can't remember which one it was, because they've had that source control integration for quite a while. They had they had an internal competition. So basically, they basically just gave out who can do this, just through the entire company, to see whether, and a couple of teams came up to try and do it in different ways, and only one of them managed it. So their brightest team kind of came up with it, and I thought, right.
So then you think about it, right? It's if you look at Redgate and all the other companies that do SSMS add-ins, right? Yeah. They have whole teams of people, right? They had at the time they had a lot of people working on them, right? There's no way you can compete with that as a single person.
No. And then
there's no way, right?
And you've got the maintenance issue of people send you bugs and
that's actually the thing that kills hobbyist software, right? Maintenance and user customer service and stuff like that. I always say that the long-term success of a business it always depends on the customer service.
Well, that's the unglamorous the boring bit, the
Yep.
investigating bugs.
Yep.
New functionality is new, cool, it's sexy. I'll write this, it will do all these great things. And it works on my computer, it works on the machines I've tested it on. And then, well, if you've got to write that add-in now, and I've now got to test it on, well, SQL 2005, well, maybe not now, but at the time, there were like 4 different versions of Management Studio, and you've got to test it with each one. Oh no!
I do have a virtual machine that has all SSMSs on it, and then I test it on there. But so they're all together, and it works. But I have so my bug reporting. If you're interested, my bug reporting is basically I use this tool called PostSharp, that is an aspect-oriented programming tool, and I use that in my code, right? And what I do is for every method that I mark. It inserts try catch into it on the at compile time, right? I don't try to try catch into every method. So at compile time, it does this, and I get an error report if a bug happens. I get an error report with exact stack trace and everything, right? And I can add extra functionality into it and stuff like that. And let me tell you, there's some crazy stuff that people have in different setups. I mean, I have about. So the last time I checked, I had about 200,000 installations all around the world, and it's crazy what people have. The edge cases, it's insane. I mean, I can't even remember the craziest one, but I mean, there was stuff like people didn't have access to my documents or stuff like that.
Yeah, because I guess. Stuff is on work machines, and it's locked down.
Or one of the issues I had in the last like a year or so. People installed it and it didn't install. It didn't install. But the installer log said it installed successfully. So what happens? Sandboxing.
Okay.
So sandboxing allows it to install, then removes it. And I'm like, Jesus, come on.
But what, you can't do anything about that. It's just that's it, isn't it?
No, but the thing is, you have to realize that that's happening.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So imagine doing that for the first time. Somebody reports that it didn't install. What do? And the installer log shows that it installed successfully. How do you debug that remotely, right?
Well, you just can't, can you?
Exactly, you can't.
That's just.
So it's interesting. It's interesting to see what people have, and
that's very weird.
You know what the interesting thing is? So I know, well, with the rule of thumb, I know how many people still install 2008 versions. You want to know what the percentage is? Yeah,
go on. It must be quite high.
It's 40%.
40% are still on.
40% are still on 2008. Well, still use SSMS 2008. So this is SSMS I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I don't track any SQL Server info or anything like that.
No. So it's possible to connect to a higher version, but things just go wonky and things break, and clearly they've only got 2008 and lower.
Yep. And it blows my mind. As I said, I cannot collect exact numbers, but this is a rule of thumb. But it's insane. Because I also don't collect any customer data at all.
No. Well, because then you've got to be responsible for it. So
yeah, of course. Yeah. I do know a bit about security.
But if people want it now, there's a paid for. So is there still a free version?
For 2008 only.
Oh, okay. And then people have
for the higher versions, I don't have a free version. It didn't make sense.
Okay. Because you think people would just. So there was no point in reducing some of the functionality, having a freeware version.
No, I hate that. I hate that. I am so hard against that in software that it gives me. You know what I actually did? People had. I was actually talking with. Who was it? I think it was Aaron Bertrand. You know him, right?
Yeah.
So he told me that he needed a way to install it on a VM, which gets destroyed often. So if you have a VM and you install it and license it on that VM and you destroy it, your license goes bye-bye. Right?
Okay, yeah.
So if you wanted a way to, so then I thought about, I had a 14-day trial version, right? And because of that, I actually extended it to 60 days. So you can have a demo version for 60 days.
That's a long demo period. That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yep. But the thing is, with software like this, you need a bit of a lead-in time so that you can test all of the stuff. And even better, you get hooked to it.
Yes. Well, you rely on it after 60 days.
It's all basic psychology, my friend.
Yes. Well, it's not just writing software.
I'm kidding.
No, but it is, isn't it? It's not just writing software. There's the psychology of, do you have a trial period? Do you have a free version? How much you charge? Because you might find that you charge more people might buy it because they think it's worth more. If you charge a small amount, people they think it's not worth it.
True. I had long conversations about this with William Durkin. Yeah. He always goes, charge more. And I'm like, no, it's okay. It's okay. The thing is, a lot of my customer base are not companies, but users, like individuals, right? And individuals, if you buy it from a company budget, you get a bit of a leeway when it comes to price, right? But if you're paying out of your own pocket, €100 or £100 or $100 can be a lot for something that you don't think gives you enough value, right?
Yeah.
Even if it does, but you know how pricing goes.
Yeah.
So I said, India. So I checked the competition at the time, and what's the possible user base, what's the possible installations, what's the possible penetration of software, and then I just threw a dart.
Really? You just went, yeah. This sounds about.
Yeah, it's like ballpark.
How much would I spend? How much is it? I mean, it's obviously
right now a single license is €30,
which is what the equivalent of
£28 now that the pound has gone down.
Oh, yeah, right. Don't keep reminding us. Well, I'm just thinking, right, that could be 12 cups of coffee, 16 cups of coffee.
Yeah.
If you think about it like that.
Yeah, but nobody thinks about it like that.
Well, honestly, well, when I talk to people about Synapse, I say, well, someone goes, running a whole server is quite expensive. And you go, £5.60 an hour for a machine that's this big, for a whole machine, or you could run, you can run a data warehouse for £1 something an hour. Is that expensive? How much did you spend on Starbucks this morning? And you go, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, but an hour.
Yeah, okay.
Those hours add up.
They do add up, and the reason why I know I'm not a clever man is because several occasions I've left it running. Now, normally there is a reason, because I was doing a demo on a Friday or something and I forgot about it. I had left the customer site or I ran out the door and I didn't turn it off. But I did it. That
makes you a forgetful man.
Yeah, but I did it the other week on an MSDN subscription, which only has $150. So it didn't last very long on that, and then it just ate up all the money.
Well, that's why you have to put a credit card for that account with no money on it.
That's why I turned the credit card off on that one, because that did bite me one time. So normally I have a script that shuts it. So on my work one, I have a script that shuts it down. But I was playing around and I didn't set one up on this MSDN subscription. So it didn't shut it down. So my fault. But
yeah, I think that Azure should handle those kinds of things, right? But I know it's very hard to do. because how do they know that you don't want it shut down? You need a check when you create it. You need a checkbox like shut down in X amount of time.
Yeah, it took a long time for that to appear on a VM. It took all I do is I just have some Azure automation script that runs every couple of hours, and it just turns off the data warehouse, which is it's really simple, and it's not stuff I wrote. I stole it from someone else. But
that's how it's done.
Why I can't, a GitHub. It's on a GitHub repo. Just take that code. I've used it so many times. I've told customers to use it, and then and then it bites me in the bum when I forget to use it on my own subscription.
Well, that's how it goes usually.
So all that nonsense. How is your lockdown? How are things coming out of
the lockdown
in Slovenia? Are things coming out now, or are you still under full lockdown?
No, we're not. We actually got a lot of things unlocked on May 18th.
Okay.
So we can move. We can move freely. Work has resumed. Public transportation has resumed. Stuff has resumed. It just you have to wear masks. You should do like a distancing of 1.5 meters or 2 meters or stuff like that.
Okay.
It's still mandatory to wear masks inside in public spaces.
Okay. So you're being provided with
that's
them?
That's about it.
Are you being given
Sure.
Oh, okay.
No,
okay.
No, of course not. You have to get them yourself. But other than that, they've started kindergarten. They've started school for the first three years. The first three, what are they called? Not classes, but first, second, and
reception
third
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those, the other kids are still schooling from home. Other than that, it's fine.
So what about restaurants and places like that?
Open.
So eat in or just take away?
Both. You can now eat in. First, they had them open just for you can serve it outside.
Yeah.
But now you can also go in, which makes a very interesting situation, right? You have to wear masks inside the public space. But how are you going to eat with your mask, right? So here's the thing, the solution they came up with. When you go into the restaurant, you have to wear a mask. While you're ordering, you have to wear a mask. But while you're sitting at the table, you don't have to wear it. And then you get up and then you go out and you have to wear a mask.
So if you get up to go to the toilet, you have to put your mask back on to go to the toilet and then...
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's really brilliant.
Right. I guess it's better than nothing. And I guess it's an attempt, but I'm interested because the UK, we must be looking at other countries to see what they're doing and how effective they are. So the countries that are coming out of lockdown, it's whether we go. I assume that we'll go the similar way as you or another country, because
probably. But we did have a very small amount of positive infected people and not a lot of deaths.
Yeah, I did see that at one point the UK was third in the world behind the USA.
China and China?
No,
Italy.
Yeah, and we were third, but we're most in Europe for death. Most in Europe for deaths, and then Brazil has come out of nowhere with loads of cases.
But
in China it looks really. Oh, and Russia, they're reporting lots and lots. So we're down in 5th of reported cases. But yeah, China is very, very low on its reported numbers. So obviously,
I've read that they've underreported by a lot.
I don't think that helps. It's
no,
it's one of those. No.
I just hope that we don't get a swing second wave, so that everybody opens up now and then it would go like that.
I think it's expected because if you haven't had it, since it's very, very contagious, masks are really good if you've got it. if you know you've got it, but if if someone handles something that you handle, or something gets transmitted in a slightly different way, then a few people, when they start relaxing even more, then there's more chance of getting it, because it's not going to disappear.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
people start traveling as well. I think the idea was, instead of having a huge spike of of cases and lots of deaths all in one space, to spread it out over a long period of time.
Yeah.
So
and then it's going to be just another flu or cold or something like that. It will be expected. We will learn to live with it.
Yeah. If it goes on for long enough, then another 6 months, maybe we'll have a vaccine.
I'm a bit pessimistic that we'll actually get one, because so far there hasn't been any vaccine for any corona type viruses. They've only been in animals, and even those are not the ones that are like that can be used as a stepping stone to the human vaccine. But we'll see what happens.
I think it was the last couple of days there have been some positive tests coming out of a human trial, but that's
really?
with
I have read that.
But that's six or eight people, right? So because obviously they can't just do it takes a long time for the whole thing. But then it could just be that's just not statistically significant. It could just be those people were going to get better anyway, and and I think there was a study that people were looking at a little while ago that just reduced the period that you felt bad by a few days, not actually got rid of it.
So that's helpful, right? If you think about it, that's really helpful, because it puts less strain on the medical system, on the healthcare system. Yes,
but obviously the UK isn't a shining star in kind of any of this kind of responding quickly.
And you're leaving by the end of the year, so who cares?
That's the one advice. So one of the questions that I ask people are what's one of the good things that's come out? So what's one of the good things that's come out? And it's about spending more time with the family. We haven't been talking about Brexit. I mean, that's a great advantage. So what have you noticed has been good that's come out of it, apart from not talking about Brexit?
Good. Well, I've seen a lot more people playing with their kids outside.
Okay, yeah. I take it. I mean, I don't know anything about your situation. You don't have children or dependents. Or...
I have a 1-year-old.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah. Do we need to be quiet?
No, that's okay.
She's not in bed. Well, I mean, would be asleep.
No, he is sleeping now.
Oh, okay.
Luckily, he's sleeping. He started walking right now, so we took him for a long walk today, so he was tired. But yeah, the thing is, right, because a lot of people stayed home. So I hope that some of those relationships improved. But the thing is, if you're staying in the very small space for a long period of time, you will have issues, right? So I hope that those issues haven't surfaced a lot.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got a house or you've got access to, especially in the UK where you weren't supposed to leave your flat, or if you didn't, you go out into your own garden, but if you could go out for an hour a day of exercise, but that was it. Otherwise, you would be stuck at home.
Oh. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we can go out and take a walk. We could do that all the time. We had to be with the family. We couldn't go for a walk with a friend or something like that.
Yeah. I think our rules have just changed, but where you can, I think, go with a single friend or play sport or something with someone. But
as for other good stuff, you asked, the air is cleaner. There's less pollution. But then you look at the news from China, and they are back to the same pollution levels. So,
well, it won't take long. I mean,
exactly. It's I mean, not a lot of good stuff came out of it anyway.
So people in our industry, in the IT industry, or who do, a lot of people have just been working from home. So a lot of people were working from home anyway. But if you didn't, you would have then been working from home, and then your employers will see, well, actually they can do work from home. And so it may encourage more companies to allow their staff to work from home.
Yeah. The thing is that as an employee, right, do you want to work from home? That's a question, because see, for me, I really don't want to work from home, because I like the interaction of the office. I like interacting with people and stuff like that. Going for lunch, having a chat, having a talk by the water cooler. And working from home kind of removes you from all that. Now, if you're like an introvert or something, then sure, that works.
You have to put those things back. So you still have to do the water coolers. You still have to do these little. And you have to make yourself do it. So a colleague of mine, we call it a V coffee. So we just did have a chat. We just bring up Teams and we just go on and we just talk to each other, and that's it.
We had the same thing. So at the company I work for, we had working from home, and we had once a week, we had an hour-long meeting and just chat and stuff. Yeah. So you have to keep those contacts. But I think that, the positive thing from all this is the infrastructure is being built for these kinds of things. And hopefully, a lot of people realize that a meeting can be replaced by an email.
Really? Do you think?
I really, no, I hope. I really hope that would happen.
Yeah. I saw my meetings go up, there were just periods of just Teams meetings.
You know what has probably went down, which events, is somebody comes up to you and says, I've sent you an email, did you get it?
No. Well, what you do get is people sending you messages on Teams saying, I've just sent you an email, can you have a look at it?
Yeah, but that's fine. I mean, you can ignore that if you want, right? If somebody comes physically to you and taps you on the shoulder, it's like it's hard to ignore that.
Yeah. I mean, there's have you seen I don't know whether they have it in Slovenia, but certainly I've seen it at Microsoft, the concept of no hello. So you don't go onto chats and go hello. You actually in the chat window.
No,
okay, you say, oh, can you help me out with a problem, or can you spend me 5 minutes to do this? You don't just say hi, because clearly what they're doing, they want your attention, but they're not saying why. So you then have to reply back.
Straight to the point.
Straight to the instead of do we need a conversation? Say hi, how are you? How are the kids? Right. What did you do yesterday? Right, now can you now look at that email that I just sent you? It's
get rid of the ballast.
Yeah. And so there's a website which is called I think it's nohello.com.
I've never heard of it. But
so the thing which is redirect you to no hello. So so I do see them go, hi Mark, and I just see, right, okay.
What do you mean?
And I'll just wait, and if they don't say anything, I'll just carry on working, right? If it's important.
You do realize that from now on, every time I contact you, I will go, hi Mark.
And it'll be dead air from then onwards.
Yeah, and I'll be like, see, something beeped, and he went like, hi.
Yeah. So that's. I should have put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Do you know what, my phone, is it on Do Not Disturb? No.
I don't know, but it was the hi Mark.
Yeah, it was. There's another message coming through on Teams now. Right. Nice. I haven't asked you any of the kind of the standard questions, so I need to get and ask you them, because we've been talking for it's 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Right. I know this one off by heart. What's your favourite cheese?
My favorite cheese.
Oh, come on. You must have seen this question. Cheese? I mean, do you have
Cottage.
one? Cottage cheese. Really?
Cottage
No.
and goat cheese.
All right. I can see goat cheese. Cottage cheese.
I
Really?
love. Yeah.
But it's just lumpy.
Yeah. It brings me back to my youth, to my childhood, not youth. So we ate it with salt on it and cream, so like sour cream, and some bacon. And it's like, what is it called? Like young onions.
Were they the white and green?
Yeah, the white green thing. Yeah, those. Yeah, those, and some tomatoes. That's amazing. That's pure joy.
Cottage cheese. I haven't seen cottage cheese for a few years.
Yeah, now you want it, don't you?
No. I don't want. I don't want your cottage cheese.
How did you come up with a question? What's your favorite cheese? Is that a British thing or?
No. All right. So there are this question came from two different places. I was talking to, I was interviewing Ian Pike. It's the first interview I did. And Michael Robson, I don't know if you know Michael, he runs the Newcastle User Group, said, ask him, what's your favourite cheese? And so I went, okay. Because, so I asked him and he came up. Now, that is a question that comes from this book.
Oh, I know which book.
Right, this book. So this
emergency question.
Yeah. So it comes from this book. So I asked Michael, oh, that was very funny that it comes from this book because I was going to use this book anyway. And he went, no, that's my question. He asks people, just when there's like dead air and someone needs to ask a question, that's his standard question.
Jesus.
So it's
okay.
Yeah.
Whatever works.
Whatever works for him, right? So
yeah, true.
All right. So let's do the MVP quiz, because every MVP has to do the MVP quiz, and I know you've done no preparation. So
I've studied a lot.
You can also choose, as Rob Shaw did, with the answer is NDA, or you can pass if you don't want to answer. It's fine, right?
Okay.
It's quite hard and tough. So just so you know, that's on mute. I shouldn't do that. What does MVP stand for?
Ooh, most. I'm kidding. Most valuable professional.
Right. Is there a secret handshake?
Oh yeah, but it's done with legs.
All right. Okay. Right. Who's the tallest MVP?
The tallest. Ooh, LaRock.
Oh, okay. Because we had Benny, and then someone has contested Benny and said that it could have been the Jason Horner. He thought Jason Horner was a bit taller than Benny.
Yeah. Could be.
And you think, how tall is Thomas O'Rourke?
I don't know. I think he's like 6'4" or something like that.
Oh, well, Benny's 6'7".
Oh, okay. Then it's not him. I don't know. I just guessed.
No.
I don't
know. We did have a bit of fun at Alex Whittle's, saying that kind of Alex Whittle's is a short. He's a short ass MVP.
He's the tallest UK MVP.
Yeah, but he's tiny in comparison. Little Alex, we call him now. Do you get free parking?
That is so wrong. Little Alex. Okay. If I get what?
Do you get free parking?
Where?
Anywhere. I mean, as a benefit of being there. Okay. What's the best free thing you got while being an MVP?
A free thing?
Free gift or sort of
from Microsoft or in general?
It could be in general. I mean, the questions are so open. You've been in it. How long have you been in MVP?
10 years now.
Yeah. So, what's the best free thing you've had in 10 years?
I'd guess a tablet.
Ooh. When did you get that? What was that for?
I won it in a raffle.
Okay. All right.
At Exeter.
Oh, okay. So was that the time you were at? Well, there was one thing at Exeter where you were. I think you had to get back to Stansted at some ridiculous time in the morning, and you had a bus at like 6 or something.
No. So I had a flight from Stansted at 11 in the morning on a Sunday, and there was no transportation at all to catch that train from Exeter, to catch that flight from Exeter, because you would have to get to Victoria in London, then go through the tube to Liverpool Street, and then took the Stansted Express to Stansted, right? And that's 45 minutes for the Stansted Express and 20 minutes for the tube and whatever the train is, right? And there was no train, basically. So I found a bus that left from Exeter at 1:40 a.m. and went through Bristol, I think, like Bristol Airport, and then it took like a huge, like a turn, and then came to Victoria at 7 in the morning. Yeah, and I left. So we were drinking that Saturday after the SQL Saturday. And I said, well, guys, have fun at 1:15 in the morning. So, guys, have fun. I'm off. Enjoy yourselves. Went to the bus station, and I didn't have a ticket because I thought I would buy a ticket on the bus. And the guy goes, well, I'm full. You have to buy a ticket online. And I didn't know that. So he wouldn't let me on the bus. So I came back to the hotel, and everybody was like, what the hell happened? And I said, well, this is what happened. And I was looking at options, and in the end, I called up a taxi that took me to Victoria. And I think that taxi driver had the best night of his life. Not life. Taxi driving career. Because he came to, I talked to a taxi company, and they were like, yeah, somebody will be there in 15 minutes. And this was at 4 in the morning. To drive me to London from Exeter, right? And the guy comes up, and he's like 60 years old. And I'm like, so why, why, right? And he goes, well, I have a customer that I have to pick up in London Heathrow. So he basically had a bonus for both directions, right? And then I came to Victoria at 7 in the morning, and I was at Stansted at 9, right? So plenty of time. And then it started snowing.
Snowing?
This was early March. So it started snowing, and it snowed for about 2 centimeters. And all the planes and everything was delayed. And my flight was delayed for 3 hours. And if I had known that, I would have just taken the train.
Yeah, because there would have been...
Yeah, there will be time.
Right. So you were in Exeter, and I went to bed because you were going to get on the bus, and I went to bed at 12 or before you left.
Yeah.
And I have to drive past Stansted, so I didn't know any of this. But I was sharing a room with someone, and so who got to bed at after 4 or something, and they, as we were driving back, and I say, oh, okay. And I went, you got in really late. Yeah, I was up with Mladen. But Mladen had to leave. He was getting on. He said, no. He said, they couldn't get on the bus or something. And I went, we're driving past Stansted Airport. We could have given him a lift. Yeah. I mean, we literally, it would have been a 2-minute detour because we were driving up the motorway. We could have just come off, dropped you off, and then gone back on. And for some reason, he just didn't say anything.
I had no idea. It was.
No.
I thought I would get on the bus. It was like,
Yeah.
Oh well, shit happens.
Yeah, I mean that was a few years ago, wasn't it? I mean we can't go back in time, but sorry.
That was 2013, I think.
All the years sort of just all the conferences sort of merge into one big conference. So I can't, unless there's something significant like the SQL Bits party or the Exeter party. So I think that was the Exeter party. Was that the one where we had the surfboard?
I don't know.
Okay.
I can't remember. I've been to every single one in Exeter. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know.
Yeah. So So we'll carry on with the quiz. Have you really got Bill Gates' phone number or his fax number?
No.
Okay.
But Bill Gates knows about me.
Is that good or bad?
Yeah.
All right. Finish the story. 3 MVPs walk into a bar.
And then walk out a few hours later.
Okay. And can you sneak me into the next MVP summit?
You're an employee. Just come on by.
Well, I can't get the flights. I can't expense the flights to Seattle.
Well, then I can sneak you in. I mean, I could pack you in a suitcase and like put you in hold on the airplane, but
I might get somewhere over Greenland. I might need to get out to use the bathroom, but
minor details.
Just wear a nappy. It'd be fine. All right.
Yeah. What's the worst thing that can happen? So you freeze a little.
Yeah, because they're not they're not pressurized, are they? Yeah. Cheers for that. Thanks for thinking about me. Wear more clothes.
No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got 2 more questions. One is the emergency question, which I put over there to you, which is the one from Richard Herring, who's a comedian from the UK. And then the other one is, who do you think would have fun having a chat? So you were nominated and kind of a few other people have been nominated. So the idea is we carry the conversations on and you nominate someone else. So
how do I know who has been nominated?
You just sort of, you can watch. So the way I would say it is that you can watch every single episode, the 28 program pod chats, as I've called them, shows, and then or you can just nominate someone afterwards if it's easier. But it's what I haven't done is I haven't spread over the channel. So
you mean the
US guys, or? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I'm moving slowly across bits of Europe. There's still a few people from the UK I haven't talked to. There's a few more MVPs and a few other people. They don't have to be MVPs. And then I'm gonna, there's a few other people in the US I want to ask on, like Buck Woody and Brent. But what I thought I'd do is I'd practice, get good at this, because you can't interview Brent and Buck and waste their time. You've got to be on the game. So
have you had Nico?
No, but that was one of the people. Yes, I will. I'll get him on for season 2. So
so you already have him booked?
No. I haven't asked him yet. So I'll ask him because he'll be a lot of fun. So if you pick a number between,
that's why I thought about that's why I thought of him.
He'll be hard to contain because once you get Nico going, he'll.
Just don't talk about CCIs.
There's 100. What? How many? I don't know how many hundreds of. I need to do the research before to know how many blog posts he's done, but it's just like hundreds, isn't it? It's ridiculous amounts of blog posts on it.
Yeah.
He must know more than the program managers at Microsoft about CCIs.
Probably could be. Yeah.
So pick a number between 1001 and 1001, and then I'll read it out, and if it's not too rude, I'll read it out.
692.
Any reason why 692?
None.
Okay. Okay. Have you ever
Should I pick another one?
No. It's okay. Just so they're all unusual. Have you ever heckled a comedian, and how did it work out for you? So when someone's on stage, even if it's like a presenter or something, he's shouting something on stage at them.
I have. It worked out okay. They had some fun at my expense, and it was okay. I also once slept in Buckwoody's session.
You don't sleep in a Buckwoody session. You don't.
I slept.
You don't sleep in a Buckwoody session and be alive to tell the story.
I'm probably the only one who did that.
How did you sleep in a Buckwoody session?
The secret is you have to sit in the first row, which I did.
You are a braver man than me to risk doing that. I presume you had a heavy night before.
I don't remember.
That's even worse. See, what's the point in going out having a good time and not remembering the good time you had?
Well, depends on what you did.
It doesn't seem like a good time if you can't remember it. Well, I think on that note.
No, it was so long. It was so long ago.
Oh, okay, all right. Sorry, not that you were blacked it at blanked.
No.
Okay, all right. Yeah, there's no point getting too drunk that you can't remember what happened. True. Because.
True.
It's a waste of the drink.
Useless. Yeah, exactly. That's not coffee.
No. Well, I've got. Well, the coffee's gone cold.
Oh, so that's vodka.
No, it's just cordial. Yes, it's a pint of vodka. Yes. Which is why the interviews go after I finish the coffee. The interviews just go up, right? Because you start on the coffee, you start on the vodka, you start to loosen up, you start to say stuff. Yeah. Well, on that note, on the pint of vodka, I think it's time to say goodnight and to let you get back. Nope. Because if you've got a 1-year-old, you're probably not getting as much sleep as you should be.
I like to sleep in. He doesn't let me.
No, and as soon as he gets the hang of opening doors and being a 1-year-old and maybe getting out of his room, then there's no kind of stopping him.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, yes.
For a very wide definition of fun.
Well, yeah, it's you have your first. So what I found is your first child, you're always wanting to get them to the next stage. So when they're eating, it's like, oh, when will they get to eating solid food? When they'll come off, breast milk to solid food? When will they eat this? When will they go from like rolling on their back to crawling? And when will they go from crawling to walking? And when will they go to talking? And then your next ones, you're going, well, there's no rush. Just you go, oh, well, just enjoy that stage where they couldn't move. And then now, you start to think back, because there'll be one is very portable because you can pick them up, carry them around, do stuff. Yeah. Put them in a baby carrier.
We stopped using that.
Oh, okay.
He's walking now. There's no point anymore.
Yeah. But they can sleep in the carrier, and one probably is a bit too heavy as well. Yeah. So I mean,
he's like 10 kilos. I can handle 10 kilos.
Yeah. Well, more for his own body weight, because it presses down on the legs, the bottom bit of when they get a bit heavier, you start to notice their legs go blue. Shh, don't. No, that's not a bad parenting tip. When their legs start to go blue and cold, you need to take them out of the carrier.
Yeah. No, as long as their head doesn't turn blue, it's all okay.
Well, blue is never a good color with babies. Not that we ever let that happen. No. But sure. You start to go, right? They're really portable. You can pick them up and carry them, and then you lose that, and then they're off on their own. They're doing their own thing, and then suddenly maybe not with boys, but with girls, they're talking about boyfriends and they're talking about other stuff before you know it.
How old are yours?
11 and 13.
Ooh,
so
interesting.
Around those times of Exeter, they were kind of quite small.
Yeah.
So which is one of the reasons for, you go out to these events and you go, I get bed early. Oh, I can get some sleep.
Yeah. It's like you go from party time to sleepy time.
Yeah. Okay.
Through the years.
Yeah. All your friends are staying up late, and they're staying up and they're staying till 4 a.m, and they're going through the different ranges of whiskies, and then
true.
And you go, well, I had 9 hours sleep.
That's why you skip the early sessions.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're known for scaring Annette though, for not turning up, not seeing you till 11 o'clock.
What do you mean? I'm always on time. When she tells me to be there, I'm there.
She
every
is.
Single time.
You are always there. You're never late for a session. You're always there when you need to be there. But it's always nice to see those faces a little bit earlier, because you think, right, what room is Mladen in? Do we have to go and knock on the door?
I remember her going worried a few times.
Yeah. But she doesn't do that anymore.
But, no, she knows me now.
Yeah. You're reliable. All right. On that note, it's time for me to go to bed and get some sleep, and you go get some sleep.